All right, I needed to play that to start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Giant Spire Live. It is a very special day. It's Victory Friday. And for the first time since I have been doing this, I have had this page. I have had this page for almost a year. It's actually been a year. For the first time, I feel like we are entering a new generation with this football team. The last time I felt like this was in 2022 when the New York Giants won 9 games, made the playoffs, and won a game. For the first time, I feel we might very well have a football team. This is going to be a different person behind the camera. I've been depressed. I've been out on this team since week 3. They looked dead to rights last week. They looked terrible. And when you look terrible and you continue to look terrible, I'm not going to believe in the product on the field. But what I watched yesterday on Thursday Night Football during prime time against the Eagles, a game that no one or their mother thought we had a chance in winning. We have sucked on prime time for years and years. Whenever we play under the bright lights, we look like garbage. And yesterday, not only did they beat the Philadelphia Eagles, they pissed on their ashes. They pissed on their ashes. I don't care what dysfunction is going on over there. The Giants could have laid down yesterday and taken it. I wouldn't have blamed them. They looked dead to rights. And they were done. And it would have been the easier thing to do. It's the Eagles' get-back game. Run with Barkley. Give it to A.J. Brown. Give it to Smith. They tried. No answers. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, and the defense and the offensive line did everything they wanted to do. Everything that they wanted to do. It was the first time I have been to MetLife Stadium and thought to myself, there really might be something here. It was easily the loudest I've ever heard MetLife Stadium. It was easily the most electrifying I heard MetLife Stadium. It is our biggest win since the playoff wildcard win against Minnesota in 22. And everywhere you look around the NFL today, it's all Jackson Dart. It's all Cam Scatterbo. It's all New York Football Giants. Everywhere you fucking look. And we have waited for a day like this for years. We have waited as a fan base and as an organization to step away from the ridicule, the negativity, related to trash, awful products on the field. We have waited a step away from that. And yesterday it happened. I could not believe what I watched yesterday. I could not believe it. This team looked like a football team, but not like just a regular football team, a good football team. A good one. Of course, the Giants beat the 3-0 Chargers. They commit 5 turnovers against the New Orleans Saints. And they're walking into this game 1-4, and I'm thinking to myself, they are absolutely dead to rights. It's going to be an ass whooping on Thursday Night Football. But instead, we took it the other way. Now I know what you're thinking. We're 2-4. How can you be this excited for a 2-4 football team? When I thought this team was done after the Chiefs game, they were done. 0-3 again. Then you beat the Chargers. And you think it to yourself, if we beat the Saints, then we can have a conversation. But they embarrass themselves against the Saints, and they look like a football team. Everything was clicking yesterday. Jackson Dart looked like Dr. Franchise. He's the quarterback. If you needed any more convincing, if you needed any more proof, yesterday is as big as a game you are going to get. That's pressure. 0-10 in your last Thursday Night Football for the past 10 years. They've been 0-10. The Eagles are a team you have not beaten in a proper manner for years. A team whose fan base takes over MetLife Stadium when the Eagles play well and makes it their home. Easily the biggest win I've ever seen in person. Easily the biggest win I've ever seen under Jackson Dart, of course. But everything was working. If you needed any more convincing, Jackson Dart is your quarterback of the future. Look no more than yesterday. 3rd down. I don't think you guys understand how big of a deal this is. If you want to win football games in this league, you got to make it go on 3rd down. Convert. The Giants, I got to find the right stat. Let me not butcher it. I need to find the correct number of times they converted on 3rd down. I'm finding it now. Give me 1 second. On 3rd down, the Giants completed a 3rd down conversion 11 out of 16 times. The Eagles converted 1 out of 9. That's huge. Jackson Dart used his legs. He used his ability to improvise, looked downfield, and made plays all night long. And you talk about Cam Scatterbo. This guy has come from the heavens, from the football gods, and said, here you go. Sorry for the tragic years. Here's this guy who's completely rejuvenating this New York Giants football team. Cam Scatterbo was sent from the heavens and has turned into a CTE demon. 3 touchdowns. And this guy was running over everybody. Everybody. Blankenship. Zach Bond. Everybody. He didn't care what your name was, who you stood for. If you were in his way, you were fucking going down. These two right here have completely rejuvenated this New York Giants team, and you saw it firsthand yesterday. But it wasn't just them. The offensive line, maybe their best game in 2 years. Not only the push for the run, but Dart had time on time on time. And when he didn't find anything, he used his ability to run and spring out first down runs, third down situations where you got to have it. Used his legs to convert. That's big boy football. Not only did he use his legs, he was throwing some darts, if you know what I'm saying. That pass to Wan'Dale Robinson where he looked like he was dead to rights, and then Wan'Dale Robinson caught the ball, turned around, and he ran up for a touchdown. Amazing improvisation there. The throw to Hyatt in the end zone where Hyatt should have caught the ball. However, he was PI'd. He was getting hit in the face as soon as he threw the ball, and it landed right in the bucket. He was making big boy play after big boy play all game. This place yesterday was electrified by these two. The offensive line played fantastic. Andrew Thomas continues to be one of the best left tackles in football, if not the best. Jermaine Illuminor continues to have a great season, and the Giants need to sign him very, very soon because you cannot let Jermaine Illuminor walk away when he's playing at the level he is playing now. But the wide receivers, after I trashed their unit last week on this page, saying how no one stepped up, consistently dropped the ball last week. They activate little Jordan Humphrey off of the practice squad, and he makes a huge catch in the beginning of the game to spark the Giants offense, let them continue with Jackson Dart. Wan'Dale Robinson, what a game by the young man. He is capable of those types of games, a touchdown game, those big passes near the end of the game where you had to have it, and he caught it. First down, move the chains. Jalen Hyatt. That might have been Jalen Hyatt's best game in 2 years. Even though it wasn't very glamorous, he caught the footballs, which is all you can ask for Hyatt, but he made some pretty good catches. Theo Johnson had a couple of great catches as well. I could go on. The offense looked simplified. It looked effective against an Eagles defense that I have no idea what they're smoking back there. But we got to switch to the defense. Because what the defense did yesterday cannot be ignored. There's talent on this defense. I told you this weeks ago. There is talent here. This unit is not bad. It's just about putting it together. Brian Burns continues to play at an all-pro level this year. Continues. 2 sacks yesterday in crucial moments where the Eagles had to have it, and instead they had to punt. Brian Burns leads the NFL in sacks, and he might be looking at a defensive player of the year nomination if he continues like this. The corners. Obviously, I know the Giants play a lot of man. And, you saw a couple plays where a couple of Eagles were let go. Devontae Smith was naked. Could have had an easy walking touchdown if Jalen Hurts can actually throw the football. And so those saying that Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback, shut your mouth. A top 5 quarterback makes those throws. He's not good. And I knew he wasn't good. right? I don't care if you win a ring. The Eagles roster is so good on paper that any quarterback that is above average or at least average would at least make the playoffs with that Eagles team last year and maybe win a ring. Jalen Hurts is not a good quarterback. But I've done that. And now people are suddenly realizing it now. And you wonder why there's so much dysfunction in Philadelphia. Saquon Barkley. The first 2 plays of the game, Saquon Barkley rushed for 20 yards each. I knew it. I was like, well, this is how they're beating us tonight. They're just going to hand to Barkley. He's going to have a 200-yard game, and it's going to be that, you know? But then they just forgot about him. Like he didn't exist. Like he wasn't even on the team. They made no effort to get him involved, even though it was working, and they completely shut him down. But this defense, Cordell fucking Flott. What a play. The Eagles are driving down the field. They look like they're going to score. Jalen Hurts misses a wide open A.J. Brown going right into the end zone. And instead forces a ball to Jahan Dotson. And Cordell Flott snatches it and takes off, almost getting a pick six. At that moment at the game, when I watched that happen, when I watched Cordell Flott run down the field with that ball, I knew it was over. I knew it was over. At that point, we won. And I knew they won. And I cried. I got emotional. Because that is not something you see often with this team, with these uniforms on, under those lights in that stadium, where they win, not only win, but in a way that no one expected them to win. If they were to win this game, if you told me they had a chance to win this game, I'd probably think they would win by a last-second field goal. They walk off the field with the win. Not like this. Not like this. And to seal the deal, A.J. Dillon catches the ball, and Dane Belton just punches that ball out. Drew Phillips lands on top of it, and that's ball game. And the special teams. We can't forget about the special teams. Consistently had good returns. Gunnar Olszewski looks to be still playing at a pretty decent level now. This team had no negatives yesterday. The only negative I could possibly think of is maybe they didn't, I thought they pressured Hurts enough, but they didn't really finish the job, but they still had 2 sacks. And that's to be said that the Eagles offensive line is very good. But other than that, I don't think you can look at anything in this game and say this was not a success. This is a giant success. And again, this is the biggest win this team has had in a long time. I will talk to the chat in a second, but let me just finish what I have to say. This one is special. And I could tell standing in the stadium last night, looking at everybody in the stands, easily the loudest I've heard that place in my lifetime. This one was special. And I know we're 2-4. I get it. I thought this team was dead. But that's a win where you might be looking back in a few years, and this could be the win that might have changed everything. Is that going a little bit too far? Is that a little bit premature for me to say? Maybe. But this might be a win, or the win that you look back in a few years and you go, this is where it begun. This was a statement that this team is not dead yet. I don't care if the Eagles had injuries. They're dysfunctional. Their OC stinks, right? Jalen Hurts sucks, right? I don't care. They're the Super Bowl champions, right? They're 4-1, or they were 4-1. This is a win. A huge win. And they showed everyone in the NFL is that they are not dead yet. I hate looking back at losses and saying that should have been a win. But if we're being honest with ourselves, if everyone in the NFL is being honest with themselves, This team should be 3-3. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, this team should have beat Dallas. And we all know it. We all knew it. They should be 3-3. And maybe if you win the Dallas game, you might not be 3-3. You might be 4-2 or 4-1. But again, if the nuts are candy and buts, shoulda, coulda, woulda, doesn't matter, right? This team's 2-4 at the end of the day. That's where the reality sets in, right? This team's not dead. This team has life. And I was wrong after the Chiefs game calling this team dead, even though they didn't really show it to me. They were close in those games, sure, but they never put it all together. Instead of the Eagles yesterday, the team putting it all together and finally figure it out, the Giants have put it all together, and it was easily the best win they've had all year. It was easily the best win this team has had in 2-3 years. And I'm super grateful and happy that I was there at the game, because that's a game I'll remember for a very, very long time. That this team has been rejuvenated by these two young rookies and everyone looking to them and looking at the energy these two have brought to the organization after sucking for years, being the joke and laughing stock of the NFL for years, after Hard Knocks, after the Plains, after Barkley leaving and getting a ring, after John Maris saying he's going to not sleep because Barkley's going to Philadelphia, to players leaving and having success, to Xavier McKinney leaving, to Jones leaving, to everyone leaving. This is the first time that I think Giants fans are realizing that there might be something here. And if you haven't been convinced that these two rookies at the bottom of your screen or in the thumbnail, Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo, are the future of this football team, look no further than yesterday night. And with that being said, I'm all back. They could have easily lost that game yesterday. 99 times out of 100 times, they lose that game in the most disrespectful way possible. But not only did they win, they pissed on the ashes of the Philadelphia Eagles. And they spit in Nick Sirianni's face and kicked him in the nuts. So now, with that being said, let's speak to the chat. Pretty pathetic Thursday night win is the biggest win in a decade. Well, Chibog, when you root for this team, that's the reality of the situation. You won because the Eagles team was injured. I love that excuse. Give me all the excuses, Eagles fans. I know you have them in your pocket because you haven't used them in a long time. We were injured too. We didn't have our best wide receiver. We didn't have our best player on offense. We didn't have Micah McFadden. We had injuries too. Every team deals with injuries. To bring injuries as excuse is a very low blow. Very low blow. And definitely classless for a team that won the Super Bowl last year with a bunch of injuries as well. Your offensive line was not healthy for the Super Bowl, but you won it. So I don't want to hear those excuses. Darts Himothy. If you needed to be more convinced, he played amazing yesterday. He easily gets my player of the game for yesterday. Wait till December. I'm ready for December. And to the Cowboys and Commanders fans, you are welcome. You know, it's always good to see Philly lose. We can kind of agree on one thing. If we knock them out, we're all kind of happy. So you're welcome. And I'm happy that we're the team that did it. Dart and Scadaboo are speedrunning CTE, though. They are. I think Cam Scadaboo has a good 3 years in this league, and then he's probably done. But I hope I'm wrong. Dart's got to protect himself a little bit more, but the play that he got injured on, and we'll talk about that play. We'll talk about the whole investigation in a little bit, with Dable going into the tent, Scadaboo going into the tent, checking on the quarterback, Russell Wilson coming out there, Thank you for the hearts. Russell Wilson going out there getting booed immediately. And I'll tell a story about that because I was at the game yesterday, and it was crazy. And we'll talk about that. The Eagles had the refs in her pockets. Yeah, well, you talk about the tush push getting run 4 times in a row. And look, no one really likes the tush push. I don't think it's a play that anyone likes. It's no one's favorite play in the league. But, I was kind of under the mindset of if you can run the tush push, then run it. It's not the most stylish play. It's an ugly play. Nobody likes it. But if it's effective and you can run it, do it. The problem with yesterday was that not only did they run it 4 times in a row, which, if you think about the creativity of that, it's absolutely blasphemous that any team would do that 4 times in a row. Because as a defense, and I get it, oh, you can't do it, so just do it yourself. They can't officiate it. There was at least 3 false start penalties on at least, 4 of those plays. And the refs can't officiate it because you can't just look at it. And so, again, last year it was going to be banned and it survived. And now I think it's going to get banned this year because I don't know how the NFL looks at that and looks at all these missed false start penalties. And you don't say to yourself, what the fuck is going on? Like officiate it better or ban it. If they can't officiate the play properly, then they got to ban it. I'm sorry. Like, if you're missing these blatant calls, this is an ugly stain on the NFL. It's not pretty. The NFL wants good, clean football. And they can't be looking at these replays and they're clear false starts on this play in particular. You have to ban it. Or at least make it a way that you can officiate it better. But I don't know one person that likes the tush push. Unless you're sucking Nick Sirianni's dick. If Philly wins the Super Bowl again, it will be banned. Well, I think it'll be banned regardless. I don't think that I don't think it survive. It will survive the year, but I don't think it survives going into next year. I have a feeling that it will be banned in some form or fashion. Whether it's a complete outright ban or they alter it in a way that you can't actually run the play, you can run a version of the play, and maybe it's easier to officiate. I don't know, but I think something will happen next year that it gets banned or whatever. Dolo was at the game too. Dolo, how was the atmosphere? I was screaming. I was jumping. I could not believe what I was witnessing. That's a one that if you were there, I mean, God bless you. I mean, that is a win. Dak or Goff, they're pretty close playing right now. I go honestly, I'd say Dak. Dak is just playing better football. I think Goff is very close, but I think Dak has made some pretty impressive catches. I'm not a Dak fan. I'm a Dak hater. I feel bad for Russell. So let me talk about that play when Russell came in. So Darko's down on the field, right? And I'm like, and he was kind of on the further side of the field from me, but I was still looking at him. And he's on the field, and I'm like, oh my God, like, is he okay? Is he okay? He gets up. He's kind of down there for, a minute or 2 minutes. He gets up, he starts running to the 10. And I'm like, okay, so either he seems okay, he might be checking on concussion, right? And he's in there for a while. He's in there for at least 5 to 7 minutes. It was a long time. So Russell Wilson heads out there, and it's a 3rd and 8, and he just completely misses the throw, and he just throws it in the dirt, and it's like, all right, well, where the fuck is Jackson Dart? We cannot be watching this shit. And immediately, the incomplete pass, the boos start raining on Russell Wilson. Now, I am not one to boo a guy that I think is a nice guy, and look, I'm not going to boo Russell Wilson. Did I find it funny that he got booed like that? A little bit, but, I mean, that's low. I mean, that's not his fault he came in. We all know that he's not going to be the starter for the rest of the year. So don't boo the man when he just went out there, threw a dud in the dirt. It's frustrating because you want Dart to get out there as soon as possible. And then you see Dable go into the 10. And when I saw Dable kind of look in the 10, I was like, can he do that? I've never seen that before. So I wasn't sure if he could or not. Apparently he couldn't. And I guess that's a big no-no by the NFL rules that if you're in the 10, That's a safe zone from any coaches, any players, any medical personnel is in there. And no coaches allowed, no players allowed. It's just the player and the medical personnel. And no coach is allowed to go in there. No players are allowed to be near there at all. And so I didn't realize that was a big no-no. So the NFL is now conducting an investigation on the concussion protocol procedure of that instance with Jackson Dart and do an investigation. Now, I don't think the Giants did anything wrong there. I don't think that if they didn't want Jackson Dart to play, if he didn't pass the protocol, he would have sat and maybe a different outcome of the game would have happened, but I digress. I have a hard feeling that the Giants medical personnel did anything wrong there. It didn't seem that, Jackson Dart, after he came out of the tent, was stumbling and bumbling and looked lost. He looked kind of the same player that he was in the first half. So I just think that Dable was a little fired up. He did not want Russell to be out there anymore. He wanted his quarterback to be out there, and I think he just got a little mad. But he might get fined. But again, I don't think he did anything inherently wrong. He yelled at the guy, the head doctor, which, whatever. It's not his fault that Dart got hurt. It's Dart's fault, but I digress. And Kim Scadamy going in there was just like, what is bro doing? Like what is he doing? But I don't know. I found it funny and I couldn't believe Russ got booed, but I mean, it shows that we're not looking back. We are not looking back at all with Dart. As a Broncos fan, let's go Giants. The Eagles are little frauds. They seem to be frauds right now. They look to be dysfunctional and lost, and I'm not sure what their solution is. But Broncos, we got you next weekend, and we'll see what happens. And, Mile High is a tough place to play. The Giants aren't dead yet. Can they pull it off? I really don't know. And last week when they lost to the Saints, I kind of reflected on that loss, thinking, well, if the Giants beat the Eagles this week, what do you make of this team? Like, honestly, what can you even think of this team? Like, what do you think the Giants are capable of now? Does it not change anything? Does it change something? I have no idea what to think of this football team right now. I really don't. Official Widdit, they should have started Dart in the beginning of the season. Now, I'll put right hand up and I'll speak out and I'll say that I was wrong. I was very wrong, right? Going into the year, I didn't want Jackson Dart to play. And I think that was just me telling myself that, well, Dart's a product. He's not a finished product. He's, a pretty raw prospect. But I'm more comfortable if Russell Wilson can play football and he can win games. Let him play. Don't rush Dart, right? But after the first 3 weeks, the Giants had no time. I mean, Dable's job was pretty much over if they didn't start Dart at that point. And I understand the philosophy was starting Russell. I understand that. And hindsight's 2020. You could say now that they should have started Jackson Dart, and I agree with you. However, if you're in Dable's position, you're trying to do the right thing. You're not trying to rush Dart in. Again, he's a raw prospect, but they had no time. So now you're seeing him play, and he's not only playing, he's playing very well. It's easy to say he should have started in the beginning of the season, and maybe the Giants would have a different record. That's true. But, I understand their process with the whole Dart situation, the quarterback situation at the beginning of the year. I understood it. Dart is the next star of the league. And let me tell you something right now that I was going to say after the Chargers games, but I didn't. This team is so fun to watch. Like, they are genuinely fun to watch. I haven't had that much fun at a Giants game ever. Like, literally ever. They were just reigniting this sad gray building that's seen nothing but L's and nothing but depression and nothing but, awful football product for years. And they just reignited this fan base and reignited this organization and stadium overnight. And I get it. I thought this team was done. But not only do I think they are not done, they are not dead. They could win some football games this year. And if they start to win some football games this year, we could be having a conversation in December. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I know it's crazy to say that. I haven't said anything, but I'm just saying they can win games. This team is capable. You saw it yesterday. You saw it with the Chargers. You saw it even with the Cowboys. They can win football games. Whatever happened last week with the Saints, 5 turnovers, whatever you want to call it, I don't think that was a great reflection of this team. That was an ugly side of the team that is awful, right? But they can win games. There's no doubt about that. But can they put it all together? And we'll find out. The schedule only gets harder and harder. Broncos. Then you go back to Philadelphia. Then it's San Francisco. Then it's the 49ers. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Why did I say that? The Bears after San Francisco. The schedule gets harder. And it's up to the Giants to see if they can have the ability to turn this season around. Not only turn this season around, but to save jobs and to save careers in this league. And to save this regime, basically. Anything is possible. Eli gave me faith a long time ago. Not once, but twice. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. They know they have to be, what does that say? They know they have the ability, now just putting in the work. This team has talent, right? You can look at the wide receiver room and you could question it. And it might not be the craziest games in there. But it doesn't matter when your quarterback can improvise so easily and find a way to make plays not only with his feet, but looking downfield for receivers that are open and making plays on it. He did that a lot yesterday. When plays break down, when things don't look good, it becomes really less about route concepts and it becomes less about, motions and whatever, and more about, can your quarterback make a fucking play? And not only could Jackson Dart make plays, he made plays all fucking night. Again, 11 out of 16 on third down. That is a big deal. That is not a stat where you just kind of just shove it off. It's such a simple stat, but it's almost inconceivable. 11 out of 16. That means not only were they sustaining drives, they were eating up the clock. But when plays had to be made, Jackson Dart was right there making them. You can't say that about the other quarterback who went 1 for 9. Top 5 quarterback. My ass. In Dart, we trust. Jackson Dart, I guess see a lot more jerseys from the young man. A lot more jerseys in MetLife Stadium. A lot more jerseys around the league with Dart's name in the back of it. And I'm thinking about getting one. It's either him or Scadaboo. I was going to get a neighbor's one, but man, I might want a Dart jersey, to be honest with you. Matt Murdock. Yes, Matt Murdock. I am Daredevil. Darth Vader. He's Anakin Skywalker. And we are on the dark side. And poor Eagles fans. Poor Eagles fans. Oh, man. They shut their ass up real quick yesterday at the stadium. Real quick. 664, baby. Oh, 644, baby. Need to make that a shirt. I might make shirts now. I don't know. I don't think I have the inventory to make shirts. I'm not gaining enough money from any of this, but I like to make a shirt like that. That'd be cool. Definitely about to get a Cam jersey. How can you not? I think everyone loves Cam Scatterboot, not only for his playmaking ability, but the energy he brings. I mean, this guy is a ball of energy. He's just running on fumes. He's running on anything. He has revitalized this organization completely, along with Jackson Dart. And these are rookies. These are young players that just graduated. These are young guys, right? You talk about the future of this team. These aren't veterans looking to find a second home. These are young guys starting here, looking to fulfill the future. Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterboot, Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, Tyrone Tracy even. These guys are the young guys that are trying to change the culture and the intensity of this team. And they're doing it. Abdul Carter on the other side as well. Drew Phillips as well. Cordell Flott. Tyler Nubin. You draft these guys, right? These two draft classes that Shane has done these past couple of years continue to impress, continue to lead the team and change the identity of this team, to change the culture, the intensity of this fan base. But Scatterboot is knocking down players. You know what my favorite play was? Not my favorite play, but one of my favorite plays is when Scatterboot gets his first touchdown. He's walking in the end zone. I think it was either DeJean or Blankenship. I forget who it was in the end zone. And he just fucking elbowed him to the face. Just elbowed him to the face. Just didn't give a fuck about Blankenship. Or it was DeJean, I forget. But ran his ass over. And that's what he did every single carry. Scatterboot's a fucking idiot. People are saying this. Players are saying this. Gunnar Olszewski has said this guy is genuinely an idiot. He knows what he's good at, and that's running dudes over and stepping on their face and carrying the football and doing backflips. That's all bro's good at, and he's living his dream. I'm excited for the first time in a long time for this team. They look good. They look like a football team that they actually put a game together that is impressive on all phases. And I'm very excited to see what happens the rest of the year. I get we're 2-4. I understand all that. But at the same time, it's so important to realize that these wins don't come like this very often. You don't get a lot of these as Giants fans. But this is a special one, and one that we'll be remembering for a while. And if we continue to play like this, if we continue to put games together like this, if this team continues to play at the level they were at yesterday, I am certain this team will win some football games this year. And if they continue to win in the way that they did yesterday, we might be having a conversation later in the year about the future of this football team. I'm very excited. I think yesterday's win we needed as a fan base. Not only needed it as a fan base, but needed that win as an organization as a whole for the players, for the coaches, for ownership, for people that work for the organization, if you're a scout, whatever. If you've been associated with this organization for a while, you needed this win. As a fan base, we needed that win at home, at MetLife. They needed that. That's a massive win. Again, their biggest win, I think, since the Vikings playoff game. Is that sad? Maybe. But it only can start somewhere, and it did yesterday. Joe, the Eagles fan on YouTube, said, I will say we are actually a bad team. Good job. Well, Joe, I appreciate the good job. I appreciate the compliment to the team. And Joe, I don't really know what to tell you. I have nothing to say. On paper, you guys should be pretty much a very similar team than last year. I don't know what's going on with the Eagles, whether it's dysfunction, whether it's the play calling, whether it's Jalen Hurts, whether the defense is just giving up. I don't know. The Giants just played better yesterday in all phases. So I really just don't know what the Eagles have done to fall, but fall like this. It's kind of inconceivable. And that you win a ring and you easily have one of the best seasons a football team has had in a long time. People comparing the Eagles team last year to one of the greatest football teams ever assembled in the National Football League. You win a ring and you win it in a Super Bowl that was so easy. You kicked the shit out of the Chiefs. The ring was yours, clearly. And this year, you start strong, 4-1. But then last night, what happened? I'm just not sure. I don't know what they should do. Joe says, I would probably blame it on Saquon because he fell off, because mostly he fell off yard ever since the Super Bowl. Well, Joe, if I'm honest with you, it's hard to replicate a 2,000-yard season, right? I mean, for any player to replicate one of the greatest running back seasons of all time, it's extremely hard to do no matter what, right? And obviously Saquon wasn't going to match that, but he's definitely feeling the effects of it. The O-line is feeling the effects of it. You could tell. They're just not playing as well as they were last year. And with the roster you guys have, I don't care about the injuries. Every team has injuries. You guys had injuries last year too. That should not be an excuse. That's the last excuse Eagles fans should give, is that they had injuries. That's why they lost. Because the Eagles should know that when they went to the Super Bowl, their O-line had injuries on it. And they still won. That's why, the roster was so good. So I'm not sure what you guys need to do. There's clearly dysfunction. And I don't know where it came from. Is it play calling? Is it Hurts? I don't know. I think a lot of Eagles fans are very frustrated and confused, and I could understand it. It's like you win the Super Bowl and this is what you do. Like, you lose to the Giants, but you just not only lose, you get completely kicked out of the stadium. You get completely embarrassed. So I'm not sure what the Eagles need to do. It's a quick turnaround for the Giants because they go to Philadelphia in 2 weeks to play them again. So who knows what happens if when we play you guys again? Will you be the same team that's currently getting more dysfunctional, or will you actually turn it around? And again, I'm still, I'm not saying that the Eagles are a bad team. I think that they are a good team on paper, but clearly yesterday they were not doing it. Holding Barkley to under 60 yards was huge. Yeah, Bobby. But what shocked me the most is that Barkley started off strong. He had like 40, 30 yards, in his first 2 carries, and then the Eagles completely just forgot about he existed. And when they did try to run with Barkley, it like wasn't creative. It was very predictable. It was like, okay, we're going to try to run again, establish the run. They just ran it up the middle, and the Giants caught it. And the Giants did what they had to do to shut the run game down, which clearly was their weakest unit. Clearly was their weakest unit going into this game, if not the wide receivers. And they shut Saquon Barkley down, which is huge, which I was for certain at the start of that game yesterday, that was how the Eagles are going to kill us, is completely just run all over with Saquon Barkley, and it just made sense. If we beat Philly at their home, they will tear their city down. I would absolutely, I would be so insufferable. If we swept Philadelphia, oh my God. Oh my God. One game at a time. One game at a time. Talk about that next week or in 2 weeks. One game at a time. We're on to the Broncos. Tough game. Talk about it in 2 weeks. But I would be so insufferable. And I think this team could do it. They did it before. How much is a team going to change in 2 weeks? It could. It's the NFL, and every team could change. That's why you play the games. But how much of this is his team going to change in the next 2 weeks? I agree. I thought Barkley was going to hurt us last night, but our D held him. Yep. Philly top 3 worst fan base. You know what, Alec? So at the game yesterday, there was a good amount of Eagles fans. It wasn't completely overtaken with them, but, Philadelphia just close to Jersey. You're always going to get a lot of Eagles fans at Giants home games, considering, they've been so good and we've been so bad. It wasn't like an overwhelming amount of them. It was probably like split like 75-35, right? And, and they were silent real fast. Real fast, they were silent. They shut their mouths real fast. After that first drive, they didn't fucking sing Fly Eagles Fly. And how they scored was so ridiculous too. Because how they score with the tush push, it's like, well, fuck you. Like, nobody likes that shit. And you come all the way to MetLife to just score. You run the tush push 4 times and you finally get it in. Like, how fucking depressing is that shit? Your only successful plays are plays that are literal, like, people want them banned. They're missing penalties. It's embarrassing. How can you do that? So, whatever. Maya girl, it was a fantastic experience. Easily the best game I've ever been to as a Giants fan. Easily the best atmosphere I've ever seen at MetLife Stadium. And we needed to win. And I got emotional, and it was exciting to see a team that, prime time Eagles. I mean, this game was written in the stars. I mean, you have no hope in the Giants. No hope going into this game, and they look like a completely different football team. So I couldn't believe what I witnessed yesterday, and I'm so happy that every Giants fan was there that experienced it, because that's a special one that you just can't forget. That was y'all's Super Bowl. Congrats. That was our Super Bowl. That is our Super Bowl. Yes, absolutely. We're taking that ring. Let's raise the banner up into the sky that says beat Philadelphia week 6 on Thursday Night Football. Let's do it. Let's raise the banner, because that's what we're looking forward to. I was very reserved with my cheering until we started to pull away in the second half. I wasn't. I mean, when we started hot with the Wandale touchdown, with the Jackson Dart touchdown, I was excited. I was jumping around screaming, but it just felt like we were in control the entire game. Like, the Eagles just had no answers for us. So I felt very confident coming back in the end of the half. I was at the half, I was like, they can absolutely win this game if they just continue to put the gas pedal down and just keep scoring, keep driving, keep doing what you're doing. And, maybe a few years ago, maybe last year, maybe years before with this team, that they come out of the half and they look defeated. And even though you're barely leading at the half, you come back out and you falter and you suffer and you look awful. Maybe last year they do that. But this year they're different. And they held the Eagles to 0 points in the second half. Eagles made no adjustments. Eagles had no responses. Nothing. But guys, I've been on for an hour. I've been talking about this team. I'm super excited. I went to the game yesterday, and I'm happy that, you know, this is kind of the this is just, it's exciting. It's actually exciting to watch this team. It's exciting to see that they're not dead. I don't think after a win like that, you're saying this team's dead. This team's done. This team's got no more juice left. This team's got some fight to it. This team's got some power to it. This team can win some football games this year. You could. But can they be consistent? And if they're not consistent, they might not win a lot of games. But if they are, you're going to see a lot more balls bounce our way. All right? So this is a big one. Savor this one. And Mark says Giants winning more than 4 games. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, won't even make the playoffs. I never said they would. I never claimed once that they would make the playoffs. Not one time I've said they made the playoffs. Not one time. I'm just saying they could win some games. How many? I don't know. They can win some games. Right? But guys, I might head out. I needed to come on here and talk just to get some content so I can, you know, maybe post this. But Giants have a great future. I say the best D-line in football. I agree. Eagles still run the NFC East. Not for long. Not if you play like that every week, Lawrence. Not if you play like that every week. I know you can cope harder with that, but your quarterback sucks. I could pick 10. I could probably pick 10 or 15 quarterbacks I'd rather have playing for my team than Jalen Hurts, to be honest with you. That's just reality. And I think a lot of people would agree with that sentiment too. You have a great roster, but not long. Stop it, who? Well, I'd rather have Jackson Dart, and we have him. So, yeah, I played Hurts yesterday. He did. I'd rather have Dak. I'd rather have Jaden Daniels. I'd rather have any of the quarterbacks in the NFC East than Jalen Hurts. I'd rather have Jared Goff. I'd rather have Matthew Stafford. I'd rather have Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes. I can go on. I'd rather Drake May. Or I could name pretty much half of the starting quarterbacks, and I'd rather have them Jalen Hurts. Just reality. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck. You just take the L. Take the L. Take it, brother. Come on, man. I could pick a lot more quarterbacks than that, but yeah. But guys, I can't believe we won. I mean, I'm just shocked. I still can't believe it. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know what this team is going to do this year. I don't think anyone really does. I don't even think they know what they're going to do. But they have played with tenacity. They're not dead yet. And I don't know. But I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. I'm hyped. That week 6, as soon as I thought they were dead to rights, as soon as I was like, I'm checking out, I'm done. This team stinks. This team is the same shitty product we've gotten for the past 10 years. On Thursday Night Football, against a team that no one thought in God's green earth we were winning against, we piss on their grave and step in the dirt. And suddenly this team has some life. All because of Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo, the offensive line, the defense, and even Brian Dable. Now, I know Dable's not the hottest name in the Giants camp right now, but You got to give some credit to him yesterday. That team looked dead to rights. And Dable's the head coach, so you got to give the props to him. You got to give some props. Dable is the worst head coach in football. I don't think he's the worst head coach in football. Did not expect us to bounce back this quickly. Caitlin, I did not expect us to bounce back at all. I did not expect this to bounce back at all this year, and they did. They have life. They have liberty. They have happiness. But guys, I'm going to end it. Thank you for the support as always. Thank you for the community. It's exciting to watch this league when the Giants are good. I think that goes with any person watching this football league, but it's definitely exciting when this is going on. Josh says, I don't know about you, but I have not stopped smiling since the game ended. And I have not either. I have been just thinking about last night. It's a thing that I'll be thinking about for a long time. Jalen has been to 2 Super Bowls. Here's Lawrence again. Jalen has been to 2 Super Bowls more than all the guys you name, except Patrick. Well, yeah. Jalen Hurts made a couple Super Bowls. He played well in those Super Bowls. And he even won one. But there's clearly something going on in Philadelphia right now. And whether you want to stay blind to it or not, Jalen Hurts is part of the problem in Philadelphia. Whether you like it or not, there's something going on there. Something going on there. Can you imagine Jalen Hurts play like that yesterday, though? Because he didn't win the game. You can argue he lost that game for you guys yesterday. But you can give more excuses when you can. Right? Good win for you. Jackson Dart looks legit. Appreciate it. He looks legit to me. If you needed any more convincing about your starting quarterback, your franchise quarterback, look no further than yesterday. But guys, I'm going to end it. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. I know you Eagles fans, they love me. You love me. I know you love me. But I'm head out. Enjoy this win. This one is one that we might be talking about for a long time. This one's pretty big. So go Giants. Go Jackson Dart. Go Cam Scattaboo. Go Brian Burns. Go Dexter Lawrence. Go Cordell Flott. Drew Phillips. Bobby Okereke. Go Wan'Dale Robinson. Go Gunnar Olszewski. And I will see you very, very soon. I love you. I am here active live. Go Giants. And I hope that this remains to be the standard. It remains to be the standard of this team for the next 5, 10 years. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And Philadelphia, have mercy on your soul.